That's a fucking clap. Anyway, DJ from GBRS Group right here at Freedom Outdoors in beautiful Virginia Beach, Virginia, where the humidity is only 185% today. Talking about the Hydra, we just dropped it. Got this thing mounted on my stoner, 2.1 CQB, short little can, cool mod light, Engall T2, Magpul buttstock, our cheek riser, and the second best sling. The best sling is sitting over there, Jared Tapper. Get a lot of questions about kind of the overall design, why we go with it, just the end user shit, the only stuff you guys really care about. So if you look at the overall concept of why we're running this thing, we brought this thing up, and if you look at all our old school pictures, we're gonna go back in time and tell you guys the story of back in the olden days, we used to rock ACOGs with doctor sights on them and how tall that thing was. But for the dudes who run around doing CQB, it becomes so easy just to drive it up in your eye and see it. We don't have to search for a head position trying to get all this. It makes it super natural, especially because we have comms. We've got push-to-talks and cables and deck cord going over your traps and everything else. So it makes it super repeatable just to bring in your eye line and take a shot. We did this, we slid the laser back because we agree we want the center of gravity and the center of all the weight over the magazine well, so this front end's not super heavy. The issue was when you drop it down on the Picatinny and we mount our pressure pads out forward for that C-clamp grip, we get laser obscuration. The laser wasn't high enough to shoot over your support grip, whether that be strong hand or if we switch grip, other strong hand, we were getting a partially obscured flood from the laser. We can't have that either because at nighttime CQB, you've got to be able to see everything in real time. Same thing going back here. We had to have a touch point. Guys get super hung up in their own little kata and we have to have the same touch point every time. But the issue is a lot of guys doing nighttime CQB, this is a configuration they run with because we're not trying to find a cheek weld. We're doing everything on nods and lasers. And if we don't have this, we can't actually rack the gun and get a full charge. Well, now we can. We can extend this thing out and we can make this carbine fit to you as good as humanly possible. That's really the end state, is to make this thing feel like an extension of your body. The big topic we're trying to hit on is to not be okay unless this thing feels like it was meant for you. If it's not, if we have to bring this thing in to there to make it feel like it's an absolute extension of your body, then you do that. If you don't like a cheek riser, shit can it. If you don't like this laser and you have the ability to can it. If you like your pressure pad off at a 45 degree, if you like, you know, this toggle on this light, whatever it might be, go into your system is your system. And I'll tell you why, because the end users will tell you, you are about to ask this thing to do something that is not common. You're about to ask this thing to save your life, and you're about to ask it to do all that shit you did in training for real, and it's gonna matter. One of the big things we look for is trying to make our presentations uniform, make them universal in every configuration. So from the low, where I can snap it out into my eye, I can break it down the high ready, same thing. I don't have to move my head, I don't have to lean over and search, and then we shut the lights out, it's the same thing. I can just squeeze my grip and it turns on my laser. I can switch grip, turn on with the other strong hand, laser comes on, or one of those weird scenarios we're getting into now, passive shooting, through the tubes, through the optic, I don't have to search my head. So the only thing we really train is high ready and low ready, because there is no high ready or low ready, there's just fucking ready. That's the easiest way that we were learned, is just to feel whatever's natural and then just repeat that process over and over. I grew up in the schoolhouse, the high ready is optimal. I'll be honest, I really like the low ready. Just from here, like the old school, I would bring it up and I would lean in. I don't want to be able to do that anymore. I want to be able to see everything around me, 360, 720, because this thing's really designed for the CQB Pro. From the low ready or the high ready, you can be a snap up and shoot. I don't have to move my head, just bring the optic into my eye line. But now if I'm gonna do, we'll call it the 3-man position, where you're hutting around, this thing's not really in a shoulder pocket, it's kind of bouncing around. We have to drive it out and slam it. That's really what we try to do. Drive it out. We don't have to make it super crazy. It can be however you want it to be, but the big focus is I don't have to shift a lot. I can process all this information. I can just snap it up and take one whenever I need to. So same thing for the high ready. I can just stay here. I drive it out in my eye line, and I can break a shot. We're gonna drop down the lights. We'll do some passive stuff through NVGs, show you guys laser obscuration, but hope that was beneficial for high ready, low ready, and 100% aluminum. All right, boys. Back talking about passive shooting and laser obscuration. So one of the reasons this thing is this high is to defeat this. It's got to be able to shoot over my support grip thumb, or if I go to switch shoulders, I switch over here, I don't want to be able to cut off my eye or aiming device. Laser obscuration, man, if you focus on that target here real quick. Okay, so that's full flood. That's my IR illuminator. Now this is obscuration. If my hand were to impede this, see how it's obscuring it? So that's my C-clamp grip getting in the way. Now there's no way to illuminate what I'm actually seeing or target ID it. It's the same thing if I would go on to VisLays and I would go right here. You can see it visible. If I put my finger in front, you can't see anything. I'm just blocking the laser. That's the obscuration we're talking about, and that's what most guys were getting. If you've seen guys, you know, online or wherever, it's got a laser behind the pressure pad in front and their hand is up here. When they go to depress that laser, they're going to get that, nothing. Or they'll get something that's partially obscured. But for the passive shooting, it's kind of what we talk about. We can shut this laser all the way off. There's nothing coming out of here. How fast can you actually take a shot and actually see it passing through night vision? That's the whole focus of it, is to make your daytime grip and your nighttime grip one the same. We can't be dancing around trying to double tap pressure pads and roll out of the way. It's too fast in real life. It's not a video game, so we have to be prepared and we have to be able to do it all at light speed. Daytime, nighttime, with a laser, without a laser, it doesn't really matter. The threat is a threat and has to be addressed. So let's be able to fight in any type of lighting condition and not have something that's going to inhibit us. Everybody wants to know why. That's why. Because you don't get to determine your lighting condition all the time. You've got to be able to run at real speed because it's fucking real. We all appreciate you guys. Talk soon.